The cracks of the sky was dark. Stars were missing. Everything was quiet to quiet. Then, a fireball raced across the sky. A ship, broken and burning, fell fast toward a strange planet. It hit the ground with a loud crash. Dust flew everywhere. Metal broke. Flames rose. The ground shook. From the broken ship, a woman crawled out. Her face was bleeding. Her uniform was torn. Her name was Commander Rhea, and she was the last hope of the crew. Behind her, someone groaned. It was Lieutenant Duran. He was hurt badly. Blood poured from a deep cut on his stomach. Duran, hold on, Rhea cried, rushing to him. He was barely breathing. His skin was pale. His eyes fluttered. The crash had thrown him against a metal wall. Now, he was dying. Rhea looked around. The medkit was gone. The ship was destroyed. There was no help. No one was coming. This place wasn't even on the map. The planet was dry, hot, and empty. Yellow sand spread for miles. Strange cactus-like plants stood still under the burning sun. Joran whispered, "Leave me, ... Save yourself." "No," Rhea said firmly. "I'm not leaving you. Not now. Not ever." She tore a piece of cloth from her sleeve and pressed it on his wound. It was no use. The bleeding was too heavy. She needed to close the cut, or he would die in minutes. Rhea's mind raced. Think fast. She looked at the cactus nearby. Its thorns were long, sharp, and hard, like needles. Her eyes lit up. A crazy idea came to her. She grabbed a thorn and snapped it off. Then, without a second thought, she reached up and pulled out a long strand of her own hair. It hurt, but she didn't stop. She had no needle, no thread, but she had her hair, and a cactus thorn. With shaking hands, she threaded the thorn with her hair. Her fingers were bloody, but she held on. She looked into Joran's half-closed eyes. "This is going to hurt," she whispered. Joren didn't respond. He was too weak. Rhea took a deep breath and pushed the thorn into his skin. It went through like a needle. She pulled it out, then pushed it again. In and out, stitch by stitch. Her own tears mixed with sweat and blood. The smell of metal and dust filled the air. Minutes felt like hours. Her hands burned, but she didn't stop. "Come on," she whispered again and again. "Stay with me." Finally, the wound was closed. It wasn't perfect, but it was enough. She tied the end of the hair like a knot. She sat back, breathing hard. Her hands were red. Her face was covered in dust. But Joran was still alive. His chest moved slowly. He was alive because of her. The sun began to set. The sky turned red. Long shadows fell on the sand. Rhea pulled Joran under a piece of the broken ship to shield him from the cold wind. As night came, strange sounds echoed from the desert. Low clicks, whispers. Something was out there, watching. But Rhea didn't care. Not yet. She sat beside Joran, holding his hand. "They say humans are weak," she said softly. "But they don't know what we're made of." The wind blew stronger. The sand danced in the air. In the distance, two glowing eyes blinked. Rhea didn't see them. She only saw Joran's chest, rising and falling. The night was long. Too long. The stars above looked different, bigger, redder, like they were watching. Commander Rhea did not sleep. She sat beside Joran, her back against a broken engine piece, holding a sharp metal rod in one hand, just in case. The wind was colder now, and it carried a sound. She didn't like something between a whistle and a whisper. Joran moved a little and groaned. "Hey, ... You're still with me," she said softly, smiling through tired eyes. He blinked. "Rhea, you lost a lot of blood, but I fixed you, sort of," she said. "With my hair and a cactus thorn." Joran blinked again. "That's crazy." "Yeah, but it worked." Suddenly, they heard a sound crack like a footstep. In dry sand, Rhea turned her head fast. Nothing. Only cactus shadows moving in the wind. She stood up slowly and looked around. The moon above was not white. It was deep orange, like blood in water. And the sky, ... the sky had changed. It was no longer black. It had turned a soft, glowing red. "Do you see that?" she whispered to Joren. He tried to sit up, failed, and fell back. "Don't move. Just look." The sky shimmered as if it were breathing. Far in the distance, strange lights floated in the air, blue, green, gold, like fireflies, but too big, too slow, too quiet, and then a sound that didn't come from the sky. It came from the ground, low, vibrating like a heartbeat deep beneath their feet. Rhea crouched down and pressed her hand to the sand. It was pulsing. RHEA. What is this place? Joran asked, his voice weak. I don't know, but it's not just a desert. A few feet away, something moved. A small stone rolled across the sand. No wind, no animals. She stood slowly and walked toward it, holding her rod tight. She crouched again. Their footprints, not hers, not Joran's. Something had been standing right beside them, and then walked away. But the strange thing was, the prints were only three-toed, and they glowed faint blue. She stepped back. Okay, this place just got weirder. Behind her, Joran coughed. His body shook. She rushed back to him. His wound was still closed, but he had a fever now. His skin was hot, eyes unfocused. I need water, she whispered. She looked at the cactus. Maybe, maybe inside. She snapped a small branch off and broke it open. A thick, clear liquid oozed out. She smelled it bitter, sharp but not rotten. She poured some into Joran's mouth carefully. He drank slowly, then coughed again. It's helping, she said, watching his color return slightly. She looked up again at the red sky. The strange floating lights were gone. The silence returned, but it didn't feel safe. It felt like something was waiting that night. She didn't sleep again. She sat beside Joran, metal rod in her hand, eyes wide, watching the red sky breathe above her. And she thought, this planet is not dead. It's watching us. And whatever was watching was getting closer. The silent ones. The morning came without warning. No sun rose, just a soft red glow across the sky. It looked like dawn was bleeding into the sand. Commander Rhea stood still, staring at the horizon. Joran was still asleep under the broken engine shell. He had stopped shaking, but his skin was cold. She touched his forehead, still warm. That was a good sign, but the air felt heavier now, like it was thick with something old. She picked up the metal rod again. It had become her weapon, her tool, her shield. I need to find help, she whispered to herself. Or something. She walked slowly away from the crash site, every step sinking a little into the soft sand. The silence around her was strange, not peaceful, but unnatural. There were no insects, no birds, no wind, only silence. And then she saw it, half covered by sand. Maybe 100 meters away was something large, not natural, a structure, a wall, maybe, or a gate. She moved toward it quickly, her heart beating louder than her footsteps. As she got closer, she saw carvings on the surface, strange sharp symbols, glowing faintly under the red light. It looked ancient, alien, but something about it felt familiar. She reached out and touched one of the carvings. Suddenly a whisper, not outside, inside her head. She jumped back. What was that? But there was no one around. The structure stayed silent. Rhea took a deep breath and stepped through a broken archway. Beyond it, the sand gave way to smooth black stone, like a floor, cracked and covered in dust. This was no natural place. It had been built long ago. She walked carefully. Inside, tall pillars stood in rows, some broken, some standing like guards. Strange stone faces were carved into them, but the eyes were missing. And then, the whisper again, this time louder. Inside her head, you do not belong here. Rhea froze. Who's there? No answer, just silence again. She stepped further. In on one wall, she saw something that made her chest tighten. A painting. Faded, old, but clear. A human. Not her, not Joran, but definitely human, fighting beside tall, glowing figures. Behind them, the same red sky. How could this be? She whispered. That's when she noticed the footprints again. But these were different, not glowing. Not three-toed, bare human feet. Fresh. She followed them, step by step, deeper into the ruin. Air grew colder. Her breath was now visible. The floor beneath her feet hummed quietly, like a deep machine was sleeping below. Then a sound, not a whisper, not in her head, a soft hum, a voice, far away, speaking words she didn't understand. She stopped behind a tall stone slab, peered around slowly. Nothing. Then she turned and came face to face with a mirror. No, not a mirror, a wall that showed her reflection, but not her. It showed her standing still, but behind her, in the reflection, was a figure, tall, pale, silent. She spun around. Nothing there. When she looked back, the reflection was gone. Her hands shook now. Suddenly, a soft whisper, real this time, came from behind one of the pillars. She crept forward slowly, and then she heard it, Joran's voice. Rhea, help me. She turned fast. She ran toward the sound. But when she reached it, nothing. Just more stone. More silence. She stood still, breathing fast. Then, from all around her, in the wind, in the air whispers. She came back. ... double quotes. They never learn. One always returns. Rhea turned and ran. Through the ruins. Past the symbols. Past the sleeping stone. When she finally reached the desert again, the red sky above had turned dark purple. The ruins behind her looked smaller now. Or were they sinking? She didn't stop. She ran all the way back to Joran. He was sitting up now. Weak, but awake. I heard your voice, she said, falling beside him. I didn't call you, he whispered. I never said a word. Rhea looked behind her. The ruins. Something was standing on the far ridge. Watching. Silent. Still. And not human. Joran couldn't sleep anymore. Not after what Rhea told him. He sat against a broken metal wall, holding a small piece of pipe like a weapon. His body still hurt. His side still burned. But now, fear was stronger than pain. Rhea sat close, checking a small metal device she'd found in the ship wreckage. It was broken, just like everything else. There's something here, she whispered. Something alive. I heard it too, Joran said. It was near me last night. I didn't see it, but I could feel it breathing. Rhea didn't answer. She just stared into the distance. The desert looked calm. Empty yellow sand. Red light in the sky, and tall cactus shadows. But something was wrong. No wind, no sound, no bugs, no movement. Suddenly they heard it. A low click from somewhere. Behind a dune. Both froze. Don't move, Rhea whispered. It reacts to sound. She reached slowly for her rod. Every movement was quiet, careful. Then more sounds. This time from the left. Click, 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 click. Too many. Too close. It's circling us, Joran said. Or, there's more than one. No, Rhea said. It's the same one. It's fast. She stood up slowly and looked at the cactus field ahead. Between them, she saw something strange. One cactus was different. Its shadow moved. But the sun hadn't changed. Then the cactus blinked. Rhea gasped. It's not a cactus. The creature turned. It had blended in with the other's green skin. Tall and thin. Legs like branches. Arms with sharp claws. Its eyes glowed dim blue. Like cold fire. It didn't charge. It just stared. Run, Rhea said. She pulled Joran up. He limped, weak but moving. They ran across the sand, toward the rocky hills nearby. The ground behind them shook. The sound of claws scraping rock echoed. Louder. They reached a small cave, and hid inside. Rhea held her breath. Joran leaned against the wall, shaking. Then silence. For a moment, nothing but then. The creature appeared at the cave entrance. It didn't enter, just stood there, listening. Rhea covered Joran's mouth gently. His breathing was too loud. The creature sniffed the air. Its neck twisted too far, like it had no bones. Then it made a sound like static from a broken radio. Click, click, click. And then, it said something. Not in an alien voice, in Rhea's voice. Joran, help me. Rhea's heart stopped. It was copying her, mocking her. Learning. She picked up a rock and threw it far, deep into the cave. The sound echoed loudly. The creature turned its head fast, and ran into the darkness. Chasing the noise, Rhea grabbed Joran's arm. Now, while it's distracted, they moved again, slow, careful steps, out of the cave, toward a cluster of jagged black rocks. Once hidden, Rhea finally spoke. It's not just hunting us, it's studying us. Joran nodded. It copied your voice. It knows how we sound. Next time, it may try to fool me, or you. They sat in silence for a while. Above them, the sky pulsed again. Now more purple than red. The sun was gone, but there was no night. Just light, and shadows. Then Joran looked at her. I saw something while you were gone yesterday. Just for a second. What a tower. Far west. It wasn't natural. It had lights. I thought I was dreaming. Rhea stood up. We go there. Maybe that's the source. Maybe that's the exit. Joran tried to rise. He winced, but stood. They began walking. Behind them, in the sand, something rose. It wasn't the creature, it was another ruin. Buried. Before, now waking up. Stone doors opened slowly, and dozens of glowing blue eyes looked out. The hunt had just begun. They found the tower just before the sky turned black. It stood alone, tall and thin, like a broken needle stabbing the air. Half of it was buried in the sand, but the top still blinked with soft blue lights. It was metal, but not human. The surface felt warm, almost like skin. Joran leaned on Rhea as they approached. He was tired, weak again. Every step hurt him. "Are you sure this is real?" he asked. "No," Rhea said, "but it's the only thing that still makes sense." A wide door slid open as they got close. No sound, no guards, just emptiness inside. Rhea helped Joran through the door. Inside was nothing but a long hallway. Smooth walls, soft lights. No dust, no sand. It was clean. Too clean. As if it had been waiting. Then the door shut behind them. They turned fast. Way out. "Okay," Rhea whispered. "This is a trap. Or a test." The floor beneath them lit up. Blue lines formed under their feet, stretching down the hall. And then, a voice. It didn't come from a speaker. It came from inside, both their heads. "You have passed the first trial. Now begins the final." Joran gripped Rhea's arm. "Did you hear that?" "Yes." The voice spoke again. "Calm, cold, not human. Only one of you may leave this world. One will be set free. One must remain." The words hung in the air, like poison. Rhea stepped forward. "No, we both leave. That's the deal." "That is not the deal." Rhea clenched her fists. "Then, we refuse." The hallway changed. Suddenly, the walls began to move. From both sides, black shapes appeared, holograms, maybe. They showed other humans. People in uniforms, crying, fighting, dying, one by one. "Rhea," Joran whispered. "That's the crew. Our crew." She watched in horror as she saw herself in one of the images, leaving someone behind in a past mission, a memory she had buried. The voice returned. "You have left before. Now, you may choose again. This time, one survives." Rhea shook her head. "I won't choose. We live together, or we die together." Then the floor split open. A clear barrier rose between her and Joran. She banged on it. He looked around, confused. "What's happening?" Two doors appeared, one behind her, one behind him. One marked exit, one marked stay. The voice now whispered softly. "One of you may walk through. Only one choose." Joran looked at her. "No," she said firmly. "Don't even think about it." He touched the glass. "Rhea, you saved me. Twice. Maybe this is my turn." She shook her head, eyes wet. "Not like this. Not by leaving me behind." Then everything went quiet. The walls, the lights, the voice. Just silence. Rhea stood there, her hand on the glass, breathing hard. Then, she heard something not from the voice. From inside her own mind. A whisper, familiar. Her mother's voice. "You always protect. But who protects you?" She closed her eyes, took a deep breath, and stepped back. "I'll stay," she said out loud. The door behind her opened, but she didn't walk through. Instead, she faced the empty hallway again. "If this is a test, then test this. I choose both." Silence. Then the ground shook. Lights blinked. And suddenly the barrier vanished. Joran fell forward into her arms. The voice returned, but different now. Softer. "You passed together." The doors vanished. The tower began to break apart, folding into itself like paper. Outside, the sky changed. For the first time, a sun rose. And far in the distance, a signal tower lit up. Human design. Working. A way home. The sky was no longer red. It was gold. Rhea and Joran stepped out of the strange tower, blinking in the warm light. For the first time since the crash, they could see clearly. The sand shimmered like glass. The wind felt soft. And in the far distance, something new was visible. A tall silver spire, rising from the desert floor. It pulsed gently, like a heartbeat. "That wasn't there before," Joran said, pointing. Rhea nodded slowly. "It rose when we chose each other." The planet had changed. It had reacted. Not to machines, not to strength, but to human emotion. They walked together, slowly, toward the silver spire. Joran still leaned on her, but his steps were stronger. Now. As they moved across the sand, small things began to appear. Flowers growing from the dunes, glowing blue leaves blooming from the once dead cactus plants. The desert was waking up, and it was beautiful. "Are we doing this?" Joran asked. "No," Rhea said softly. "The planet is." When they reached the base of the spire, a low hum filled the air. The surface was smooth like glass but warm, like skin. Rhea touched it gently, and the hum became louder. Then the spire opened. Not like a machine, more like a living door. Inside was a chamber of light. They entered. Inside, they saw memories. Not theirs. The room around them showed moving images, floating in the air like holograms. First, alien figures, tall, glowing, peaceful, building cities, planting energy deep inside the planet. Then war, fire, a choice to hide and turn the planet into a trial ground for other species, to test if anyone else deserved to inherit what they left behind. And we passed the test, Joran whispered. No, Rhea said. We sparked something. The light turned toward them. Not a voice. This time, a feeling, a question. Why did you stay? Rhea answered without thinking. Because I couldn't leave him. I'd rather die than leave him behind. Then Joran stepped forward. And I would have stayed too, even if she didn't stop me. The light pulsed brighter. The chamber changed. Again, a wall slid open, revealing a small pod, smooth, white, and glowing. Inside it was a seed. Not a plant. Not tech. Something alive and unknown. Rhea stepped close. The feeling returned. A silent question in her chest. Will you take it? She looked at Joran. We don't even know what it is. Joran smiled slightly. That never stopped us before. Rhea nodded once and picked up the seed. The room dimmed. The floor under their feet lit up, forming a path leading out. Outside, the desert had changed again. Now there were trees, green ones, birds flying. The sky was soft blue. Rhea turned to Joran. We've changed this place. He nodded. Or maybe it's changing us. Far ahead, the human signal tower, once broken, now glowed. Bright green. Rescue was possible now. But Rhea didn't walk toward it yet. She held the seed close. She could feel it, like it was pulsing with their heartbeat. Alive. Connected. Double quotes. You think Earth is ready for this? Joran asked. Rhea looked toward the sky. Maybe Earth didn't send us to explore this planet, she said. Maybe this planet sent something for Earth. The seed pulsed in Rhea's hands. Soft, warm, alive. And somehow, waiting. Joran walked beside her as they neared the old signal tower. It stood tall on a rocky cliff, its antenna half broken, but glowing. Now with green light. The wind had changed. It no longer howled. It whispered, like the planet was holding its breath. They entered the tower's base. Inside, dust covered everything. But the screen lit up when Rhea touched it. Human identity confirmed. Last transmission link. Active. Then a voice. From the system. Cold and robotic. This is Earth Command. Do you read? Rhea froze. Joran leaned close to the mic. This is Commander Rhea and Lieutenant Joran. We survived. We're not alone. Silence. Then static. Then Earth's voice again. Unknown energy signature detected. Repeat. What did you find? Rhea looked down at the seed. It pulsed once. Twice. Before she could answer, the tower shook. Not from a quake. From below. The floor beneath them began to light up circles. Symbols. Soft gold and blue lines. The tower's screen shut down. A new voice spoke. Not from Earth. From the planet itself. The final proof begins. Suddenly, the ground opened beneath them. They fell. Not down, but through. Like falling into light. And then, they were standing. No pain. No crash. Just standing in a giant white space, with no walls. No floor. Only light. Before them stood the planet's true face. Not a person. Not a monster. Just a form of energy, shifting, watching ancient. It spoke with no mouth. You passed the trials. You endured the hunt. You resisted the trade. You chose love over survival. But there is one final truth. Rhea took a step forward. What truth? That even in light, the heart may still fall to shadow. Show us. Show all who watch. What truly makes you human. Then, behind her, disappeared. And in front of her, he appeared again. But not bleeding, not weak. This version was different. Colder. Calm. Smiling. Rhea, he said. It's done. Leave the seed. Come home. Rhea narrowed her eyes. You're not Joran. I'm everything you want him to be, the fake Joran said. No pain. No fear. No need to fight anymore. He reached for the seed. She stepped back. You want it, she said. The voice around her answered. It chooses the one who chooses others. Will you give it up? To save him. Suddenly, the real Joran appeared, trapped in light. Struggling. Gasping. Fake Joran smiled. Choose him, or keep it. Prove yourself. Rhea looked at the seed, then at Joran, then back at the energy that watched her. No, she said. You don't get to break us again. She placed the seed on the ground between them. She stepped away, hands raised. I choose him, she said. Even if it means we lose everything. The light paused. Everything went still. Then the seed cracked open, and light exploded. The white room vanished. The ground returned. The sky above, now bright blue, filled with green clouds and silver birds. And Rhea stood beside Joran again. Whole, awake, alive. The planet spoke one final time. Humanity is not perfect, but it is worth saving. And then, silence. Far in the sky, a portal opened. Earth's ships were coming. Rescue was real. But Rhea didn't look up. She looked at the seed in her hand, now glowing brighter than ever. A gift, a test, a message. She whispered softly. Because of us, the universe knows who we are now. Joran smiled. They'll never call us weak again.